What's going on, guys? Welcome back to your Lake Fork Guide. Today we're going on the water on Lake Fork. Going to show you guys a few fish catch clips from last week and show you guys something pretty crazy. This is going to be the fastest pre-spawn to spawn transition ever. Well, we were fortunate to catch quite a few big bass last week while we were fishing under a lot of changing weather conditions. And the weather conditions that we faced as humans didn't change that much, but the weather conditions in the water column, holy cow, did they change quickly. Mainly the temperature change was the big deal, man. We started out going into that week, the weekend before that, water temps were down to low 50s, really. I mean, Main Lake was down to mid to low 50s. Backs and pockets were down to low 50s, some of them even upper 40s. And we're going to start off right here on Tuesday, a week ago Tuesday. Now, we had a warm Sunday, a warm Monday, warm nights, Sunday night going into Monday, warm night going, Monday night going into Tuesday. So this was the beginning of the third day of a warming trend here. And these fish on Tuesday, they were still on a pre-spawn warming trend feeding pattern type of deal that we've talked about all winter. And so we're going to show you guys some catches from that. We start out on our first spot. It's a classic Main Lake oriented staging spot, a highway where they come through there and have some high spots to stop and pull up and feed on. And we were able to get the day started really well with some big bites. Winter warming trends, folks. At Lake Fork in the pre-spawn, it's the very end of February. This is an 8-pound, 3-ounce fish, and this was my first cast. I'm betting there's going to be more videos to go with this one today because it's going to get about 82 degrees. The water temps are climbing, and when you get a winter warming trend on Fork, that's just kind of a normal fish right there, man. It's awesome. Awesome place. That boy, Scotty. Biggin? Yeah. I ain't catching no small ones today, huh? Pretty good one. Pretty good one. Coming this way. Good. Go ahead, you got big line. You got big line. That's a nice one, Scott. That's a darn nice one, dude. We ain't got no time for small ones today, do we, bud? No, sir. Let me see that thing. That's pretty good. Big boy. That's a stud. Hey, that's for old Billy Jack. Sir William James. That's for you right there, brother. Just now started it. Ready? Come on. You got that. Pretty solid. Show that one off a little bit right here. Atta baby. Good job. Number 2 for Scotty T. Scott, we got an 8-pounder. We got a 6-pounder. And that one's probably, we ain't gonna weigh that one. We'll call that one a heavy 3. He's almost 4. We'll call him about 3 3/4. And you know what? Yours was 6 1/4. So together you got 10. Okay. Now you just got to catch one that weighs 10. That's right. So as you can see, man, me and old Scotty did it up right there in the beginning. Now, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind as we watch these videos, not all fish catches are recorded. Not all fish catches are documented. I'm out fishing with these guys on guide trips, and I'm not so worried about the camera. So I do miss quite a few of the fish catches at times. That was our 3. I didn't pull it out. As you saw, I didn't pull the GoPro out until I caught that giant one on my first cast. And I thought, man, it might be going down out here. I might want to run that GoPro for a little while. So keep in mind, that's kind of the deal in today's video. You're not gonna see every single fish catch from these trips. But the key moments we kind of were able to document for you as far as the changes. So that's what I wanted to make this video about, was showing you guys the changes and adjustments we had to make throughout the week and the mistakes, the adjustments we didn't make, and when we waited too long and it cost us. So we're going to talk through all that as we go through this video. The first change was to go from that Main Lake staging spot. I started noticing how warm. The Main Lake water temp had already climbed to like 58 on Tuesday morning. So, man, I went to the back of a creek with old Scott, and we kind of started 2/3 of the way back, 3/4 of the way back, and then started working our way back. And we had to get pretty far back in there and pretty shallow before we found a bite. But here's the cool thing about that pre-spawn warming trend staging deal. Once we found a bite, as you'll see, we found several. Got one. Oh, he come off. That's a big one, dude. Little one? Just a little chunk. Not the worst fish I've ever seen. Got him. Got him, biggin'. Not great biggin', but decent. Hell, he's just a short, fat one. Looky there. Maybe it was the same fish I missed in. Look how that fish is built. He ain't got no tail, Scott. No tail at all. Oh, he got me on the stump. Get off the stump. He's got, oh, it's a big one, I think. Feels like a big one. He's got me right on the stump, Scott. I don't know if I still got him there or not. Did you see his tail swirl? Here it goes. Pretty good one. Ah, that's a stud there, bud. She hit me right on that old stump pretty good. I'm gonna need to retie mine too. GoPro. Scott, hold that so I can see it good. They can't see very good when I'm holding it.
Got it, baby.
That's another stud, ain't it, buddy?
Baby.
We ain't catching too many small ones today.
All 4 or 5, however many bites that was, 4 or 5 of those bites, they all came in that one little stretch. And guys, I can't tell you how small that stretch was. That stretch was maybe twice the size of this garage, maybe, where all those bites came from. And we fished a couple hundred yards before we got to that, and we fished several hundred yards after that, came back through it, and that's when I got that last big bite, was right back in that same stretch. Every bite we got in that whole creek was in that one little stretch. Now, that creek's pretty unique. You get in the channel, outside the channel, really can't navigate your boat too well because there's so much flooded junk from when the lake was low. But we fished around a big, wide section of that creek, and that one tiny little section, about twice the size of this garage, is where every bite came from. They get really grouped up on this deal. We were able to go get one more. Actually, we got more. We got a couple more bites in another creek channel. Very similar deal, only documented one of those fish catches. We'll show you that now.
Little guy. Oh, we'll hit it on the way back out. We'll let it settle and hit it on the way back out. Well, this one got the...
I'm on this side.
Oh, are you?
So the next day was Wednesday. Water's warming up even more. We're starting to see some water temps in the shallow waters anyways are getting up above 60 degrees. Pretty good. I mean, pretty good above 60 degrees on Wednesday. Even that afternoon, later on the day, we saw as high as 65 and 67 degrees in the backs of some of these creeks and coves. Man, that's extremely high warming temps. That's well into spawning temps. And so this particular day, I had a guy that wanted to pre-fish for a tournament, not that coming weekend, but the weekend after. So we were really scouting areas out, showing him where I've been finding fish and trying to anticipate where these fish are going to go. We did a lot more looking around and thinking and talking about these fish are here, they should stay here, or they're going to get up and spawn. Here's where they're going to spawn. A lot of those conversations between me and the gentleman I had last Wednesday. Didn't really record very many fish catches at all on this trip. For whatever reason, I wasn't thinking about the camera. We were spending more time kind of thinking about the analyzing what we were doing and trying to get him ready for this tournament, because that was the purpose of the trip. That being said, it was a tougher bite. All those staging fish that I'd been catching the day before, you know, we went to that starting spot and we caught, or he had a bite that morning. He actually shook it off like full on previous, and I told him, man, go ahead and catch him. You're far enough out to catch him. He just thought I didn't want anybody to see us catching fish there because we had boats around us. But later that day, we found ourselves in one of those channels, and we did get like 2 bites in a row, and another boat pulled in, and we immediately left that area after those 2 bites because that boat pulled in, and we didn't want somebody. He stopped way outside the area where we were. And at that time, I think a lot of people were thinking, about staying out there because it's February and we were going to the back corners is where we were getting bit. So we didn't want that guy to see us catching fish back there, to be quite honest with you. So we kind of picked up and left. Here's those couple fish catches.
Coming through, lady with the baby. That's a bass. That's an under too. That's a pretty good under. That one wouldn't be bad for a 5-fish stringer deal. Like him to be a little bit bigger, but not bad.
Nope, that's a good one.
Get out my trolling motor, dude. He's on my trolling motor. This is a new way to boat flip them right here. That's the new way to boat flip them, bud. I got it. I got it. Come here, Bacon.
That's a slaughter.
Yeah, that'll do you no good in a tournament.
It sure is pretty today.
But you'll have fun getting your butt whipped. You'll have a lot of fun getting your butt whipped with them. Good fish. Awesome. He wrapped me right around my live scope transducer, my live sonar transducer. He got my line all around it, man. What a mess.
So that day goes on, and by the end of the day, we found ourselves, like I said, finding that really warm water, 65, 67 degrees. And we even had the conversation. I'm like, man, I was beginning to wonder on Wednesday, are some of these fish starting to spawn? Because we didn't catch near as many fish in the staging areas that day as we did the day before. Fast forward to Thursday, tried to stay with the staging deal. Didn't film at all on Thursday. Didn't even break the camera. To be honest with you, it was flat tough on us on Thursday. Stayed in those channels where those fish would group up at in those channels for us the days before. Main lake stuff. None of that worked out. We weren't able to get hardly any bites, just a few bites, man. It was really, really tough. Grind. And by the end of Thursday, which we only fished a half day on Thursdays. For those of y'all that don't know my personal schedule, I have to fish half days on Thursdays because I have to get my kids from school every single Thursday, and I have to fish half days. So we fished a half day on Thursday. By the end of that half day morning, I was looking around thinking to myself and talking to the person I was in the boat with. I was like, man, I bet you there's fish spawning. Like, I think some of these fish are spawning. I think that's what's out. I think a lot of these staging fish have gotten up on the bank and are trying to get on the bed because these temps are plenty warm. We also had a cold front blow through Wednesday going into Thursday, so that kind of slowed me down from jumping right on the bedfish. I thought maybe the cold front would keep them from doing that. It was just a bunch of thoughts going through my head, and I got it completely wrong. I should have been up there on the bank looking for beds is what I should have been doing, because we went out Friday, and Friday morning, still slow. We had horrible conditions to sight fishing. It was very cloudy, very, very heavy cloud cover all day. Very, very windy, extremely windy. So horrible sight fishing conditions. So tried to fish around those areas just real slow, flipping, spinnerbaiting around the bushes, but did transition pretty early out of the channels and onto the flats where fish should be spawning, and went about trying to catch those early spawning fish without looking at them. And some of the lake is too dirty to see them, and some of the water we were fishing was that way. So we were just fishing, flipping bushes, running a spinnerbait down the edge, running chatterbait down the, and we caught a fish or two here or there doing that, but it was pretty tough. Finally, later on in the day, decided to start looking for them, started finding a couple, started catching a couple. Here is a couple catches of bedded fish on Lake Fork at the end of last week. Now, the funny thing about that was, and it also delayed me going to that water temps, those water temps that were 65, 67 on Wednesday afternoon. On that day, those same water temps were like 56. So at first I was like, man, these fish might not be locked on beds. But once we got to looking, we saw that there were some that, even though the water temps had dropped down into the mid 50s, were staying committed and locked onto those beds and were catchable fish.
If you can get one of these pitches where it just kind of falls right behind her, I bet she'll bite it again. I think that's what happened when she. That's her. That's her. That's her. Oh, come here. Not like February bed fishing, huh?
That's right.
Nice little chunk, not a bad one. There you go, man.
your ass in the back now. Yeah.
Here, let me see her. Show her off right here. Good job, my brother. They both come down in there now. Here he goes, get ready. Oh boy.
Oh.
That's the little male. Pull him over that bush.
There we go.
The flying fish landing.
Hey. Wonderful.
But hey, he's got a partner in there that's bigger than him now. He's just a little guy.
Come on now.
There you go, man. Good job, dude.
Thank you.
Pretty fish.
Yep.
Yeah, she's sitting right there. I mean, just a hair. There you go, right in there. Swim, right there. Yeah. Oh, moved her. Shake it. Like, shake it regular. Without rattling. Yeah, real little suck up and shake it. There you go. Oh. Yeah, boy. Come on. Let her go that way. Take her that way. If you can. That's a pretty good one. You didn't think she was that big, did you?
No.
Not at all. That's a goat, dude. That's a
Came off,
stud.
too.
In the net.
Yeah.
Good job, fishing guide. You made it. You good net man.
Good
Show
job.
that thing off. Let me see that big old stud.
Heck yeah.
Ain't she a Lake Fork bass? Let's go. Yeah, man.
So as you see, there's definitely some bed fishing going on there. You can tell from those few catches that we actually did get on film that day that there were bed fish. I will tell you, there was another really big one that one of my guys lost that day. And we had some other catches that were on camera, as I was talking about earlier. But really interesting to see. We finished like the second half of that day, all we did was sight fish. That's all we did. We didn't even think about doing anything else, man. We went straight through lunch looking for beds. We didn't go to lunch break. We were just bed fishing hard the rest of the day. So last week was a very interesting week. Now fast forwarding to this week, we've got warmer weather again. It's bed fishing time, man. It's a lot of fish pulling up on beds right now. I will tell you guys that. And here's the deal. There's always a couple prevalent patterns in Lake Fork during the spawn. One is bedding fish, and the other is the shallow points where fish pull up and feed before and after they spawn. Right now, these temps have warmed so quickly. I've never seen it go from full pre-spawn to full spawn in a matter of about 3 days, which is what happened last week. It went from full pre-spawn, channels, stuff like that, and you could catch them, and 3 days later, you couldn't get a bite doing that. The only way you get a bite is bed fishing or, you know, slow flipping for fish that would be spawning. That was insane how fast it happened. And with it happening the way it did, I don't think the next wave has pulled into those shallow staging points yet. I think right now, for this week, the way to catch them is bed fishing. Until these fish pull off of beds and a new wave comes in, I think bed fishing or fishing for spawning bass. You don't have to sight fish to fish for spawning bass. You can just flip weightless plastics and light Texas rigs and even throw frogs over the top of the beds, things like that. Those are ways to catch spawning bass without having to go look at them, and some people do prefer to do that. So, but for right now, I think really about the only stable, you know, safe, consistent pattern on Lake Fork is spawning bass until this wave leaves and another wave comes in and those two waves combine and merge on some of those shallow points. Then that shallow point deal will start to play. I would look for all that to shape up and show out about middle of March. For the next couple weeks, I think we need to stay on the spawning bass, and we'll just keep doing videos like this and keep having these discussions, and we'll figure it out as we go along. So I hope this helps you guys out when y'all come to Lake Fork. If you're coming in the next couple weeks, spring break's coming up. A lot of spawning bass going on during spring break, man. It started a little early this year, and from what I've seen, once these fish get in there and commit, man, they don't really leave. They're going to stay around. I'm seeing some pairs start to show up more this week than we saw in this video. Some bigger females up there. So it's getting good really fast and a little bit early this year. So y'all get your boat greased up, get your stuff ready to go, get your new line on your reels, and get to Lake Fork as soon as you can, because it's kind of starting to go down like right now, man. So we'll see you guys out there. Thank y'all so much for watching this. It means so much.
Fish Life app's going to get updated this week. We'll have new spots that feature all these areas these fish are spawning in right now. You'll get to see that. If you don't know about the Fish Life app, you need to check it out. I put brand new spots on there every single month on the Lake Fork Premium Package. We have many other lakes as well with guys that own it full time just like myself. It's the only app in the world where you got a guy that's on the water full time, updating the spots every single month and giving you the most current and accurate information that's ever been offered in the world of bass fishing. Go check out the Fish Life app. It's spelled with a Y. It's linked in the description. Find the lake you want to go fish on. Get yourself subscribed, and I think you'll be... I've never heard anybody say they were disappointed in it or that it didn't live up to the billing, so to speak. All right, that's it. I'm going to quit rambling. I'm going to go get some new knots tied on my stuff because I'm going back at it again tomorrow like always, man. Thank you guys one more time for watching. We'll see you next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.